Welcome to Strong in the Broken Places. My name is Jeffrey Reuter. Today we're going to tell the story of the 12 spies. And then afterwards we're going to talk about the lessons that we gleaned from this story. And those lessons are going to include the metaphorical and symbolic Egypt that we sometimes may find ourselves in. We're going to talk about that wilderness. We're going to talk about the destructive power of negativity, followed by giants and then mindset. Because there was a couple different mindsets at play here with the story of the 12 spies. But let's get into the story now. In this story, we find it takes place thousands of years ago. The children of Israel had just been freed from captivity in Egypt. God had performed these mighty miracles, and the children of Israel went through the Sea of Reeds. They went through Mount Sinai. They received the 10 Commandments. There were some tests and trials along the way, to be sure, but it was just months after their release from captivity that God fully intended to deliver the children into that promised land, into the land of milk and honey. So Moses picked out 12 spies. It was at God's behest. He told Moses, choose 12 men, one from each tribe, and have them spy out the land. So Moses did this. He picked them in, and they went and they spied out the land. And what these men discovered was that the land was literally overflowing with milk and honey. There was abundance everywhere. And everything was big. All the produce, the fruits and vegetables were huge. It took 2 people to carry just a thing of grapes. The trees were humongous everywhere. The cities were huge. The people were big. Just abundance was everywhere. So the spies came back, and when they gave their report to Moses and Aaron and the children of Israel, they were like, yes, to be sure that this is a land overflowing with milk and honey. But here's the problem. 10 of the 12 spies were infected with negativity. They gave a bad report. What they said was this here. They said that the people are too big for us. The cities are too fortified for us. There's no way we'll ever be able to go in and conquer the land. And then not only did they take that negativity, but they also said this. They began to twist things around. Now all of a sudden, a land that was producing abundance, they made that into a land that devoured its people. So instead of what God meaning to be good for our lives, what God meant for good for them, they twisted it, they changed it, and they gave a bad report. 10 of the 12 spies gave a bad report, and they ultimately had to pay the price for that mindset, for that bad report. But here's what 2 of the spies did, Caleb and Joshua. They said, no, we can do this. This is our land. God has promises to us. Look at everything he just did for us. We can do this because God is doing it for us. But the children of Israel, they became infected with that negativity. And what they did was they paid a price for it. God condemned all the adults except for Joshua and Caleb to wander in the desert for the next 40 years. And that is sometimes where we find ourselves in when we have the land of milk and honey at our disposal, but we don't want to claim it. We don't want to take possession of it. And instead, we prefer to walk around in the wilderness for years sometimes. So that is essentially the gist of the story of the 12 spies. Now, there are a whole lot of lessons that we're going to talk about from this. And in the next clip, I want to get into first the metaphorical and symbolic significance of Egypt. You see, because what the problem was here for the children of Israel, they still had that metaphorical and symbolic Egypt mindset. And tomorrow, I'm going to tell you what that is and what that represents and how we can combat that. So let's wrap this up. Let's close with this. If you like what we're doing, then share this with a friend, subscribe to us, and like us. And tomorrow, let's be ready to talk about that symbolism and metaphor. And I'll see you then. Bye.